Are you there? Okay, fine. So we'll start the session now. Is PPT visible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Fine. So good afternoon to all. Uh, Today's topic for presentation is digital logic families. I am ST Kumbhare, lecturer, electronics engineering at Government Polytechnic, Gondia. Uh, so the topic for today's presentation are logic family classification. Then we will see different logic families like transistor logic, then emitter coupled logic, CMOS logic family, and then at the end we will see the comparison between all these three, that is TTL, CMOS, and ECL family. Outcome of the presentation are you will be able to classify logic families, then you will be able to describe each of the logic family, and at the end you will be able to compare between logic families. So these are the outcomes of the presentation. As we had already seen this, logic gates are available in the form of ICs, that is integrated circuits. And as per the level of integration, the ICs can accommodate more number of logic gates and digital functions. As we had already seen, the level of integration there, we have different level of integration. We'll have a brief about that. Uh, and these forms are referred to as logic family. So these are the level of integration which we had already discussed. Once again, we'll go through this because these are important one. So a single IC contains a large number of gates. Now, how many gates are there? It depends on the level of integration, like this: small scale integration, or medium scale integration, or large scale integration, or very large scale integration, and that is VLSI means again very large scale integration today itself. So depending on this, you will be able to say how many gates will be there in a IC, and depending on that, functionality will differ. Suppose the number of gates are less, obviously the functionality will be very less in that IC. But if you have a large number of gates incorporated or inside the IC, then that IC will have large number of functionalities or very high functionalities available. So uh, Murray's law. This also we had seen just now. We will recall it. I think all of you are aware about this. So Murray, that is Gordon Murray, a co-founder of Intel, has predicted in 1965 that uh, every year the number of transistors per square inch will double. Okay, and nowadays if you observe, in 18 months, every 18 months, the number of transistors are getting doubled. So this Murray's law is following the trend right now also. Okay, minus difference is there, but otherwise it is following. Then logic family classification. So digital logic family is basically classified into two ways: bipolar and unipolar. The difference between bipolar and unipolar is in bipolar you will get the output in two side, that is plus and minus, and in unipolar you will get the output on one side only. Okay, and the other output will be on reference, that is 0. Okay, so this is the basic difference between bipolar and unipolar. Then in bipolar we have two again partition that can be called as saturated and non-saturated. Saturated means your output will saturate at one voltage level like 5 volt and all, and in non-saturated the output will not saturate at particular level. So you may have different output levels. Now unipolar, there are three classification, that is PMOS, NMOS, and CMOS. PMOS is nothing but P-type P-channel MOSFET. NMOS is nothing but N-channel MOSFET, and CMOS is nothing but complementary MOSFET. So this CMOS will comprises of both, that is PMOS and NMOS. So whenever we want to form CMOS, we have to use both PMOS as well as NMOS. Saturated, it has classification like this, that RTL, CTL, IIL, DTL, high threshold transistor logic. then TTL, short and non-saturated has two types, that is Schottky TTL and emitter coupled logic. Okay, now this Schottky TTL is the advanced version of this TTL. So there is a slight difference between this. Now so we will see one by one. Basically three logic families are mentioned in your curriculum, so I am going to tell you those in detail. Remaining I'll just give a brief about this. So transistor logic, as the name suggests, transistor means this logic family has transistors inside it. So this is the most successful bipolar logic family. Okay, nowadays we mostly use transistor logic, that is TTL logic level, which is basically it has two levels. One is either 0 volt or another is 5 volt. So this is a saturated logic level. So most successful bipolar logic family, sometimes it will give you plus 5 volt and minus 5 volt output voltage, and it was evolved in 1960s, and till now it is in trend, means it is used most of the places. It uses transistor both to perform logic functions and provide high output drive capability. So whatever logic functionality will be provided, that will be with the help of transistors, and it has high output drive capability. What do you mean by this? What happens whenever we design any circuit, we expect that that circuit should control or run the other circuit which is connected to the output of that circuit. Then in this fashion, whatever this parent circuit, for example, let us say I have this circuit. I'll draw a block, just a block, black box I can say. So this circuit, what I expect, this circuit should drive, means should control or should run another circuit like this. But what happens, this circuit is in need of higher voltages or higher signal to control this. Now this higher signal, higher controlling signal should be generated from this base circuit like this. So how to do this? That can be done with the high output drive capability. Okay, so if it has higher capability to drive this circuit, then that can be called as high output driver. Means this circuit has the capability to generate a high output to drive the next circuit. So this is called high output drive capability. Then TTL ICs are available in 5400 and 7400 series, but nowadays 5400 series is absolute, so it is not in the market. 7400 series is currently available. Then NAND gate is the basic TTL logic circuit. Means if you observe in the TTL circuit, you will find that there is a NAND gate available. Now what is this NAND gate? That we will see in upcoming lectures. Then it is multi-emitter transistor. Now what do you mean by this? Let's see in the next picture. Multi-emitter means, all of you are aware about transistor, that it has three terminals. One is collector, another is base, and third one is emitter. So multi-emitter means during fabrication of this IC, multiple emitter terminals are fabricated so that the inputs will be applied to these terminals. So that's why this TTL transistor logic has multiple emitters at the input side transistor. And if you observe, it has two transistors. So this transistor will control this part, and that too depending on the inputs applied. So this is basically, okay, this one is your 3-input NAND gate, okay, and it will control the similar gates. Okay, so such type of similar gates can be controlled at the output. So output of this gate is available at this Y. Okay, so this Y is nothing but output of this circuit, and that will control the similar type of gates at the output. But you can observe this circuit in the RPGN also. There the whole description is mentioned over there. Next, this is also one of the TTL logic circuit, where you can observe again now this is a two input logic circuit. So this U1 and U2 are the two inputs which are applied to the two emitter terminals of a transistor, and this will control this remaining circuit. So again, this is transistor logic, that is TTL circuit. Now the characteristic of TTL circuit is it has high speed, okay, and low noise immunity. Now we have already seen what is noise immunity. So basically, it is the ability of the circuit to uh, sustain the noise without affecting the output or performance of the circuit. That can be called as less noise immunity. Then it has power dissipation of 10 milliwatt. These characteristics are much more important. In exam, they will ask you to compare the characteristics. Then in that way, this will be helpful. It has fan in of 6 and fan out of 10. This fan in and fan out we had seen previously. Fan in is nothing but how many number of inputs it can handle, and fan out is nothing but how many number of outputs it can drive at the output side. Propagation time delay is 5 to 15 nanosecond for TTL. Now this is TTL family evolution for 7/4 series. So initially 7/4 series, it was bipolar saturated BJTs and practically obsolete. Don't use in new designs. Right now it is not used. So it is obsolete. Obsolete means it is not in use. Then next series came in picture, that was 7/4S series. So these three series are not used nowadays. These are obsolete now. So after 7/4S series came in picture, which is again bipolar, deep saturation prevented by Schottky diode, and reduced storage time delay, but now practically obsolete. After that 7/4S series came in picture. So bipolar, power means lower power, slower speed version of 7/4S series. So these are the series which are available right now, which can be used. So 7/4A series, that is innovation in IC design and fabrication, improvement in speed and power. Every time the feature will evolve. Okay, whenever a new series comes in picture, that will have the feature
Sir,
replacement.
audible not clear.
So that's the feature. What happened? Any problem?
Sir, voice not clear.
Network issue. Actually, I'm having low network connectivity. Is PPT visible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Now is it visible? Is PPT,
No, sir.
PPT visible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Visible.
No, sir.
Who is not able
Yes.
to see the PPT? Is PPT visible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so basically I lost my connectivity. Because of that, I was not able to present you. Till what point I covered in front of you? Have you seen this PPT previously, or this one?
Yes, sir.
Characteristic of TTL is over to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is a TTL family evolution. So like this TTL family got evolved. Now the next family is emitter coupled logic, that is ECL. ECL logic is a ECL logic family is nothing but non-saturated digital logic family. It is a type of non-saturated. TTL is a saturated logic family. ECL is a non-saturated logic family. This comparison you can remember. Then it is the fastest of all logic families. Okay, so whatever logic families we will see right now, or whatever logic families available right now in the market, among that emitter coupled logic is the fastest logic family which is there. Then it is basically used in high speed applications. So whenever it is the need of high speed, you have to use this ECL logic. The output of ECL logic provides OR and NOR function. OR and NOR function means we will see the OR and NOR logic gates in upcoming session. So just you have to remember, keep in mind that it will give you two outputs. One is in the form of OR and another is in the form of NOR. And the difference between OR and NOR is, if OR output is 0, then NOR output will be 1. Okay, so both are complement to each other or inverse to each other. If OR output is 1, NOR output will be 0. So this is the difference between OR and NOR. The input is connected to the base of transistors. So we'll see the circuit. So this is a basic circuit, 3 input OR NOR gate. So here you can see that there are 3 inputs available at the base of transistor gate input, and there is a differential amplifier, and at the end you will find a emitter follower, and at this emitter follower you will get the 2 outputs, and these 2 outputs are nothing but OR and NOR output. So the symbol for OR NOR gate is this. So such type of OR symbol is there, and this bubble shows NOT. So this will be the NOR output and this will be the OR output. So this is ECL logic family. So it consists of 3 parts. Just now we have seen. First one is gate input, second one is differential input amplifier, and third one is emitter follower. Then emitter output requires a pull down resistor for current flow, as you can see in this circuit here. Okay, emitter it is connected to the ground, negative side or negative voltage. So the output is pulled down. Got it? So that's for current flow purpose. Okay, pull down resistor for current flow. Now the characteristic and demerits of ECL are propagation delay is very low in this ECL, and because of this only we can say it as fastest logic family, because if propagation delay is less, obviously whenever you will apply input you will get the output. Then it is the fastest logic family. Drawbacks are it has very low noise margin, not noise immunity. Okay, you have to keep in mind noise margin and noise immunity. So noise margin is the quantitative measure of noise immunity. Okay, so if noise margin is low, that is drawback, but if noise immunity is low, that is good. So this thing you have to keep in mind. Then it has high power dissipation. That's why the power need of this IC is very high, and it will provide it will generate very high heat. So you have to provide cooling also. Then it uses negative power supply, which makes it difficult to use along with TTL and MOS. So if you want to connect other logic families with ECL, it will be very difficult, because TTL and MOS normally uses single power supply, but whereas this ECL uses both power supply, that is positive and negative, then it has problem. Now the next family is CMOS logic family, that is complementary MOS. So MOS is nothing but metal oxide semiconductor. It has three types like PMOS, NMOS, and CMOS. PMOS is the slowest one. NMOS is basically used for microprocessor and memories. So even though we have PMOS and NMOS, previously it was NMOS was used heavily. PMOS was rarely used because PMOS is slowest, and NMOS was used in microprocessor and memories. But nowadays PMOS and NMOS both are outdated or obsolete one now. Nowadays CMOS is used at larger fashion. So PMOS and NMOS are obsolete now. They are not used. Instead, CMOS is used, where both P and NMOS are used. Because PMOS and NMOS has their own advantages and disadvantages. So in order to take the advantage of both, we are using N as well as PMOS. So in CMOS, both P channel and N channel enhancement MOSFET are fabricated on same chip, and it is suitable for battery operated system. That's why if you observe, in most of the circuit nowadays, CMOS is used heavily. So this is basic CMOS NOT gate, we can say. CMOS switch means NOT gate. So here you can observe at this side, this is nothing but your PMOS. Okay, how to identify PMOS and NMOS? If this is a P channel, that is positive channel, the current flow should be out of that. So this arrow should be outside. If this arrow is outward, then it means that this is a P channel MOSFET. If the arrow is inward, means this is the N channel, because obviously every time current means current flow or signal flow happens from positive side to negative side. So if it is P channel, the current should flow toward outside of channel, and if it is N channel, current should flow towards channel. Okay, so this is the identification. If the arrow is toward this channel, then this is N channel. If the arrow is outside of this channel, then it is P channel. Since it is enhancement, this will be separated. Okay, so there is a break between these three terminals. Then the gate of both the terminals are shorted, and the input is applied to this. Then this source of this and drain of this are connected, and drain of this and drain of this are connected, and that will give you the output. Because in MOSFET we know that the input is applied to the gate and output is taken from the drain. Okay, and at the source, on one side plus VCC is connected, on another side minus VCC is connected. Zero is connected, ground is connected. So it has what will happen if I apply input as 0 over here? Okay, one more basic you have to keep in mind, that PMOS will turn on when positive voltage will come to the give me a minute. Okay, PMOS will turn on when negative, not positive, when negative voltage is applied to the gate of this. So it will turn on. Turn on means the voltage at this point will come to this point, and this NMOS will turn on when positive voltage is applied to this gate terminal. So then only this point and this point will be shorted or current can flow. So whenever 0 is applied, a low voltage will be applied to this gate. So this will be on and this will be off. As soon as this will be on, the current flow will start from here to here and it will go to this direction. So VCC will be here. So the output will be equal to 1. And since 0 is applied, this will be off. So this line will break down. As soon as we will apply 1 over here, this will be off. Okay, this will be off and this will be on. And as soon as this is on, this and this point will be shorted. So this ground will come to this, and so the output will be equal to 0. And since this is off, no current will flow over here. Okay, there will be no current over here, and since no current can flow, this will be open circuit and only current flow will happen in this way. So this 0 volt will come over here. So if you observe, when 0 is applied, output will be 1. When 1 is applied, output will be 0. So this is basic CMOS switch. Okay, because you are getting output or no output. Tell me.
Sir, please 1 second. Repeat.
Okay. Okay, this is CMOS switch, or it can be also said as NOT gate. This is a CMOS switch, or we can say this as NOT gate. This is nothing but your NOT gate. So in NOT gate, what happens if you are applying 0, the output will be equal to 1. And if you are applying 1, the output will be equal to 0. Invert of that, or it is also called as inverter. So what is done in CMOS is that we are basically using one PMOS and another NMOS, so that we should take the benefit of both P and NMOS. Okay, and why it is so, there is a theory regarding that. Will not go into depth. Okay, you can read it. Lots of theories available regarding that, but will not go into depth. So this is your P channel and this one is your N channel. Now how to identify P channel and N channel? This is nothing but your channel. This is nothing but your channel. This is also a channel. So when I say P channel, it means this channel will be of P type. And when I say N channel, this channel will be of N type. So since this is a P channel, and we know that current or signal will flow every time from positive to negative side. Okay, means P to N side. So the current flow will be like this direction. Okay, so the arrow will be like this, and if the arrow is like this, means this is a P channel, even though it is not mentioned. And if it is a N channel, so current will come towards N, so the arrow will be like this. And so by identifying this arrow, I can say this is a N channel. So like this, we can identify whether it is a P channel or N channel. This is one thing. So what we did, we have connected P channel with a N channel. So in that also, gate of both the P channel and N channel are shorted and applied a input. Now the drain of both the P channel and N channel are connected, and that is given to the output. So current output will come at this point. Now the source of P channel is connected to VCC and source of N channel is connected to ground. Now what will happen? Again, you should know when P channel and when N channel MOSFET will turn on. Since this is enhancement MOSFET, again in MOSFET we have enhancement MOSFET and depletion MOSFET. So in enhancement MOSFET, P channel MOSFET will turn on when the gate voltage is negative, and N channel MOSFET will turn on when the gate terminal is positive. Okay. Now if we apply 0 at input, what will happen? Now this negative means not actually negative, it can be low voltage. So instead of negative, I can say low voltage. If low voltage is there, this will on, and if high voltage is there, this will be on. So since 0 is applied, which is a low voltage, this PMOS will be on and this NMOS will be off. So this is off. And this will be on. So as soon as this will be on, what will happen? A current, okay, whenever it will be on, it can be treated like this, means it is short circuit. So current will flow like this towards output. Since this is off, there is no connection between this. And since no connection is there, this line is open. So the current will flow like this. So at the output, you will get V0 equal to 1. So the input is inverted. Next time, whenever you apply 1, what will happen? Since you have applied 1, which is a high voltage, because of that, this NMOS will be on and this PMOS will be off. This will be off. Okay. Now, since this is off, this will be, there will be no connection here. So this point and this point is open. So no current can flow between this. Whereas, because this MOSFET is on, this point and this point can be treated as short circuit. And because since this is short circuit and this is connected to ground, a current flow will happen like this. And since current flow is happening like this, this ground voltage will appear over here and you will get output as equal to 0. So if you are applying 1, you will get 0. If you are applying 0, you will get 1. So this is CMOS NOT gate or CMOS, what we can say, inverter. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Fine. So similarly, we can have different gates. So this is CMOS NAND gate. Okay, where again these are nothing but your what we can say. What sort of this P channel or N channel? This MOSFET, is it P channel or N channel?
P channel.
This is the P channel, right? Because again, this is the channel and arrow is away from the channel. So this is P channel. And since arrow is towards this, so this is N channel. So this is CMOS NAND gate and this is CMOS NOR gate. Now how these are created and constructed, don't go into that. Whenever you will study means VLSI and all subject, that there you will come to know this. Just you have to keep in mind that MOSFET structures are like this. That this is a NOT gate, this is NAND gate, and this is NOR gate. Now the advantages of CMOS. So it is low, it has low noise, it has low power dissipation, it has high fan out, it has high switching speed, and better compatibility. That's why nowadays CMOS is used at many places. Now how the CMOS family is evolved? Initially we had 4000 series and 74, after that 74C series, which is now obsolete. 74SC, after that it came, and then this series got evolved like this. So what is happening? Basically in every IC we have to connect power supply. So what is happening in today's world, that this power supply requirement is getting reduced. We cannot directly reduce it. As per manufacturing of the IC, the power supply requirement will reduce. So if you observe, initially we were connecting 12 volt, but nowadays there are certain devices. We have a devices which basically works on 1.8 volt also. Means the your, what we can say, uh, battery, that cells, right? We have a watch cell, we can say. So the cells which we use in watch, depending on that cell also the devices are working, because the power requirement is getting reduced because of manufacturing technique. Now what is the benefit of this? Since power requirement is reduced and the power applied to the device is less, obviously the power consumption of that device will be very low. And since the power consumption is very low, the heat generated in the device will be low. So this is the benefit of this CMOS, that power requirement is getting reduced, and because of that other things are happening. You can see the things which are mentioned over here. You can go through. Next. This is basic comparison of TTL, CMOS and ACL family. In exam, most of the time this is asked also. So this thing you have to keep in. So in okay, we have different parameters. So gates used in TTL, it is NAND gate. Initial it is OR and NOR gate. In CMOS, most of the time it is used NAND and NOR gate for designing the circuit. Noise immunity is very good in TTL. In ECL it is poor, whereas in CMOS again it is very good. Fan out is greater than 10 in TTL. In ECL it is approximately equal to 25, and CMOS it is 20, greater than 20. If in actual, if you see, it comes to the 50 also. So CMOS has very high fan out. Then fan in, TTL has 12 to 14 fan in. Then ECL has greater than 10, and CMOS is also having greater than. For propagation delay, TTL has less than 10, ECL has 2 nanosecond, and CMOS has less than 10 nanosecond. And power dissipation is like this. Again, don't take these values as it is, because in TTL also we have different ICs. In ECL also we have different ICs, and CMOS also we have different versions. If you want, I will show you in the. Give me a minute. Okay, I have already uploaded the RPGN book. So if you want, you can check it out. And it is given on page number. I'll show you the page number also. So if you observe that different versions are there in TTL and CMOS. So you will find that each has different value. So this value may differ sometimes. That's why I have shown greater than, less than, like that. Okay. Now, so the 3 families are there in your curriculum, but apart from that, we have different families like RTL, DTL, DCTL, IIL, like that. So basic, some in basic brief about that I'm going to tell you. So next is a resistor transistor logic, which is not there in curriculum. Just for your information, I'm telling you. So this is called as resistor transistor logic because at the means we are using resistor and transistor for formation of this logic circuit. That's why this is called as resistor transistor logic. So this is okay. Don't go here, this side. This side is nothing but your output side. Okay. So this means other circuits are connected to the output of this circuit. So you have to focus on this. So here you have resistor, you have transistors, and then this is 2 input NOR gate. Okay, this one is 2 input NOR gate. So that's why it is called as resistor transistor logic. Next is diode transistor logic. So if you observe, diodes are connected at the input side and there is a transistor over here. So that's why it is called as diode transistor logic. So that's it from my side. If you have any query, you can ask. Otherwise, I am going to upload a quiz related to this also. Just go through it, and all of you please attempt the quizzes. Don't hesitate. If you have any doubt, please ask. All of you,
Yes, sir.
tell me.
Sir, why we are used to propagation delay is very low?
Where? Okay, propagation delay is why we need propagation delay very low. Is it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Basically, what is meant by propagation delay is that whenever you apply input, you should get the output instantly. That is the expectation, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But what happens in circuit that when you apply the input, even though you are observing that I'm getting the output instantly, but there is a minute difference. Okay. For example, if I have applied input at this instant and I'm expecting the output should be at this instant, but I will get the output after some time. So this time, okay, from here to here, this is called as propagation delay. Now, if this propagation delay, okay, this time is more, what will happen? You are applying the input and you have to wait for more time to get the output. But this is for single input. Suppose, depending on this output, if your next output is going to be generated, what will happen? Since this propagation delay is more, this output will be also at means after very long time. So the overall speed of operation of that circuit will be very less. So if you want to increase the speed of device, what you have to do? You have to reduce the processing time. And this propagation delay is nothing but your processing time. So if this propagation delay is very less, what will happen? This output will be available at faster rate, and since this output is available at faster rate, this output will be also generated at much more faster rate. So the processing speed will be very high. Got it? That's why propagation delay should be less. That is the expectation. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Any other doubt?
No, sir.
What about others? Any doubt? Okay, fine then. One thing okay. So that is the end of this lecture. I would like to ask some of the things.